We're beautiful. We're live.
Hello, welcome. Grant and I have no chill, and we're not used to doing things on a schedule because until very recently we would just play games whenever we wanted to, but now we have a show. So we're not going to play a game today, but we are going to do some world building, which I know last night we said we do off stream, but whoops. Um,
I think it's beneficial for the audience to see the process and how it works. Oh, hey Jim.
hey,
Jim,
Jim.
it was great to see you in the Invisible Sun directed campaign private forum. By the way, check out his sign up sheet if you want to play
Yeah,
Invisible Sun.
check out Jim's sign up sheet, play Invisible Sun. It's real good.
So essentially, um, what went down last night on Half Sick of Shadows? There's been some
Well,
overflow drama too. Like I'm still not over the
oh yeah,
session.
I guess I gotta pull up our Discord chat. This is our living document of Discord. Um, so last night on Half Sick of Shadows, we played for the Queen. Um, and we told the story about a queen. Um, they all have names now.
They do.
Named them
Esmerenda.
Esmerenda. That's funny because my stuffed animal that I've had since I was a child is named Esmeralda. So now I'm just imagining an adorable stuffed dog queen. But anyway, yeah, Queen Esmeralda. Um, and she was on her way to the Nation of Sands to try and convince them that she had the divine right to stop this war that was going on. And throughout the course of the game, we discovered many things about the Queen's advisor and the Queen's spy master. Um, Most important of which is that the Queen is an illegitimate child of the Queen Mother and the Spy Master. So, in
Or the
fact,
advisor.
the advisor, sorry, not the Spy
Yeah.
Master.
Cause
That would
that would be a plot twist.
yeah, that would be a plot twist, but it's not a thing. um, but yeah, so which means she has no legitimate claim to the throne. This was kept a secret at the end of the game. But what we figure is that about 100 years in the future, somebody finds out what's going on, um, and people aren't so happy about that. Uh, and so we're gonna play The King is Dead in a couple weeks with some cool folks. We got some fun special guests. But to do that, we need houses. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to create some noble houses and talk a little bit about, I guess, the implications of what happened, um, and maybe build a world a little bit. Uh,
That sounds pretty good. So, for our house generation system, we're going to use some rules that come out of a game called A Song of Ice and Fire, which was designed based on the licensed property. It was designed by Robert Schwalb, though, who's designed lots of other games. They were a principal designer on 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, Cypher System, Shadows of the Demon Lord. A lot of the RPGs that you have here in like the past 10 years, Robert Schwab was one of the designers on. So they were the head designer and lead designer on the Game of Thrones edition of A Song of Ice and Fire. And one of the features in that book is sort of a narrative heavy, rules light house generation system, right down to generating coat of arms, which is something I'm very interested in, heraldic imagery and symbols and things like that. We're going to do a little less of that outside of like the mythological creature slash animal, so we might end up with some unique symbols. But essentially, this breaks down into several steps. Let me double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a 6-step process. The final step is the most intensive, with maybe the exception of the coat of arms, which is going to be very light the way we do it. And we can put as much emphasis on any of the steps, or as little emphasis as we want, just to show the audience. See, here's my steps. Currently, our kingdom, which is currently, I'm just calling it Haven generically, will have 10 nameless realms right now. Eventually, those realms will get named, so get more fleshed out as we go. But specifically today, we're interested in these houses, where we're first going to describe which realm the house began. Then we're going to go through their defenses, influence, amount of law in their lands. Are they lawful or lawless? The size of their population, their power, and their wealth. And then we're going to talk about... go ahead.
I was just... So, are these the 10 nameless realms, like the 10 nations?
No.
Okay.
I had considered that, but that's a little more Warring States
Yeah,
style,
that's more
as opposed
yeah.
to...
Do we really need 10 houses then? That's a lot of houses.
No, those are just realms. So
Okay.
we might only have... We'll have no more than 5. And we'll probably only have 4. Like, if we have 4 players for King is Dead, I would say only do 4 houses.
Yeah, I think we only need 4 houses as well. So that's why I was kind of like, oh god, 10 things.
No, yeah. That's just to be honest, and I apologize for interrupting, it's just to add more variety to these attributes: defenses, influence, law, population, etc. So let's pop into this. So first things first, let's start doing our first house. And so, Lauren, I would like you to roll 3d6 for me.
Okay. That's good dice, Foley. I got a 2, a 2, and a 1.
Add them up for me. So that's 5?
5, yeah.
It's a fairly low roll. That would be, they are from a realm that was nearly annihilated. And it is also the largest geographically of the land. And it has to deal with the constant threat of ancient tribes. So,
Can we not ancient tribes?
No, it doesn't have to be ancient tribes at all, and it doesn't have to be that. It's just
like that just sounds
perilous land.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds a little more colonial than I want.
Okay. That's part of the problem when you're playing with an imperialistic kingdom nation, anyways, right? So
yeah, but I don't know if we are gonna really.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Approach
it
in a nice, we're not. If we're gonna have colonialism in a game, we have to deal with it as a bad thing, but not just have a nameless threat. But I like perilous lands.
Yeah. In fact, it's not so much nameless. It's I don't want to use any copyrighted, trademarked things from the rules we're stealing from right now, and I don't know what we name them.
Fair. Okay.
That's why I use terms like ancient tribes. Literally, the King is Dead has a house that is ancient tribes. So
yeah.
If we're going to play that game next, we have to deal with that as well.
We have to deal with that, yeah.
With that said, they name the house and they explain that they were the original crown. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what we'll look at it is...
And they have an equal claim to...
Yeah. We'll say it's large geographically. It's perilous land. Let me double check. I have way too many windows open. The next thing, it is a land... faced annihilation during the war.
When we talk about the war, is this the war that we discussed in the Queen? Okay.
Yeah, so that war has been going on for as long as any players remembered. I think we established. So these are just a few things that we know. So it's going to be large geographically, and it's going to be northern. So it's on a northern part of whatever our fictional map will look like. It'll be an expansive land. We might even add that word expansive. And the main reason it's perilous too is, you know, it's essentially it's a borderland, so borders become disputed, and it may be one of those things where it might be people that don't live there view them as disputed borders, but it might be the people that are there that are just like, no, they just graze their cattle over here, and they've done that forever. But other people might view it as an intrusion. It all depends culturally. Where they think. So
I don't know how much like magic we're gonna put in this game of art of this.
How much magic do you want?
Story. I just like, it would be cool if there was like a big, like scary magic, like the black, or not black, but like the dead swamps or whatever that like weird monsters come out of, or like, you know.
Yeah, that's what we never played into it, but in Unrestful Hearts, that's what the Marmors were. It was like strange creatures that are deadly come out of that swamp.
Yeah.
And there was, in some playtests, there were spellcasters that lived in that swamp. And people said, well, is this a game that has no magic? And I said, that's a good question. Does it? Does it not? I don't know. Does the Arthurian legend have magic? It really depends on through what lens you look at it.
So I'm really interested. Sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, so one of my favorite books is The Haunting of Elizabeth Cray by Chris Wooding, which is a very good young adult horror novel. And the conceit of that setting is that it takes place in an alternate London in which the Austro-Hungarian Empire and those allied with them won World War I, and London was destroyed and bombed out. And monsters started appearing, but they were like out of these dead places, these destroyed places, and they were like the monsters that that you hear about, that you are afraid of as children, like, you know, the monster that hides under the bed and steals you in the middle of the night, and like the monster that follows you, that you feel like is following you behind, and if you look 3 times it will like grab you, you know. But I just like the idea that like the monsters came out of and were created because of the monstrous acts that the mortals committed out of this like war. So, you know, if this was a war-scarred area,
I think that's what makes it so perilous as well. It's like, this is the war-scarred area, and here be monsters, perhaps.
Yeah. So there's a great anime called Lost Song on Netflix, and there's one town and it's called like the City of Ash, and it's because it was the site of this great battle, and the ash just never left, and it's just this like creepy burnt out city. So I imagine there's like one of those there.
At this point,
I know we're like going.
Yeah,
I know that's like way ahead into things. But.
Yeah. That's why I was like, if we had the region making game and we could just kind of put these touchstones.
Just do it.
Well,
We'll do the region making game
so
later.
let's do this. Yeah. So make note. Can you make notes on this, because these would
Yeah.
be good elements for using the Downfall world creation system, like just adding
Okay.
some of these elements.
Okay. Do you want me to? I'll just make a note in my notebook so we're not just like messing around with the doc.
Just anywhere, or even Discord.
Or well, actually, I can put it up on another page that's not.
Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna take paper notes with pen,
That
and then I'll
works.
put it in later,
Photograph.
so I can see what you're doing.
All right. So next, we're going to get. I believe you roll 7d6. I want to say
7d6.
I want to say it's either 7d6. Yeah, it's 7d6.
Okay.
There's some
1, 2,
modifiers,
3,
and it's
4,
going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Okay. And do I have to add them all together?
You roll 76, add them all up, and then that will be one score. And it's going to go defense, influence, law, population, power, wealth. Then we have some modifiers that apply to those. And then that's going to determine where we land on a different chart, which is going to give us more like descriptive language.
Right.
And if you would rather roll 20 this, because it's
faster. I'm about to make a roll 20.
Yeah, or even pop into our For the Queen from last night.
Yeah, pop into our For the Queen. Okay. Roll 7d6. 28.
That's us within us. All right, so the first one's 28.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be 33 because I have a modifier 5. And then next.
20.
That's going to end up getting a plus 10, so a 30. And next.
25.
45 for law. And again.
26. Man, I wish I was playing Burning Wheel right now.
Very low population. Power. So next.
Another 26. I still wish I was playing Burning Wheel right now.
And the last one.
27. Damn it, I'm rolling so well.
And now we're going to have some descriptors that come. So if you can look in the document. So the first one is a 33, which means it has good defenses with almost certainly a castle, along with a few other strong points. Roads and rivers provide easy transportation. Or it may be that natural terrain features, such as mountains or swamps, provide good fortification. So I'm going to copy and paste this line into there.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm just going to paste it out of the book, right? So we can clean up, and we can decide. And then the next one is a 30. So, they have, it is a small or minor house. So they're known, and they're greater than, like, say, like a landed knight, but they're smallish. This House of the North. Next, 45. That's high up on this. I'm gonna need you to roll one more time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
32. Damn.
All right, so that's 32.
I just want you to know, if we were playing like a Burning Wheel right now, I rolled 6 successes, and 3 of them were sixes.
That's good. 15. 16.
I never roll this while playing Burning Wheel. It's not fair.
All right, so I fixed this. So we have a large area of land that spreads across a great distance. This area likely includes a variety of terrain features. So it's going to be a lot of biodiversity, diverse ecology, or at least diverse geography. Um, this little house that is fairly well defended. Like
Mm-hmm.
they come off as sturdy. Can you call out what the next number is? So I ended on 45. I want to say it's like a 15 or something
It's a
low.
15, yes.
Ha! Lawlessness and banditry are a problem along the fringes of your lands. So probably because they're so small. SMOL.
Mm,
Small house.
small.
Small. And the next one?
16 is population.
Yeah, that's a small population. And the largest community would be like a small town. This reminds me of my Fairbrook, which was a small community I made for Dungeons and Dragons. They had a little minor house and a nice castle, but little else going for them, which is why they needed adventurers to come through and deal with the lawlessness. Next number?
Uh, that is power 21.
That's pretty good. They have a modest force of soldiers, including some trained troops. So there's some training that they have. And
From this like tiny, this tiny population just sends all of their people to
yeah,
protect the land.
last but not least, 22 is they're common. The house has enough to get by, so
Well,
they're not a wealthy house.
so how do they have this like modest force of soldiers if they have no money? It's all just like loyalty, I guess.
Well, loyalty, it could be that all the taxes go there, they don't take anything for themselves, and it could be that so think of it this way. They're the noble house, so they're noble. It could be that they've been given an allowance from the queen
Hmm.
to have a modest force. Likewise, since this is a perilous, dangerous land, it could be the most common job is that of a soldier. Like it's a
Yeah,
soldier town. So
especially if like there's monsters. Maybe they're like maybe their best import is like monsters, monster parts,
yeah, oh yeah, they're
or
monster
export.
harvesters.
Yeah,
Um,
just like the monster hunting
so
people.
next we're gonna determine when their first founding was. So go ahead and roll 1d6 for me.
4.
They are an established house. That is the most generic uh, house. So, and then roll another d6.
1.
They're going to have one historical event. Lame. All right. And roll 3d6 for that.
That's 11.
Uh, All right. So let's see what it says. So they're mostly known for having a period of peace and prosperity where the house expanded. That might explain why they have such expansive lands.
Hmm.
And but it could be that then the war started, the monsters came and wiped many of them out.
Yeah. Yeah, that feels accurate.
All right. And so that determines I'm going to add historical event. Um, and then it could be the next step is we get to design their holdings. So this is going to be. Let me double check to see if there's any strange holdings. So. Da, 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 da. Roll 1d6 for me.
1d6. 3.
They are known for the family's known for a small castle that they own.
A nice castle.
Yeah,
so that is very defensible. I feel like we just made House Stark.
So it's like a standard castle, only smaller. We can work these into scenes when we play the narrative games. The King is Dead. It might be that this house, the castle is where we hold some of the scenes. But we know essentially their largest one is a small castle. The next, go ahead and let me double check our score. Okay. So we have the option of having up to 2 heirs. Yes,
I feel like for heirs we should not, because we're going to use these to play for the King is Dead.
Here's another way to look at it. So there's 2 people that could potentially rule this house should the lord or lady. This might be good for fiction, right? So these are people you can talk about in the house.
Yeah, I just feel like because we're using, like, if we're using this to hack the King is Dead, then I want to leave that completely up to the players. And then if we need to flesh it out later for Unrestful Hearts or whatever, we can, but
that's why I would say you absolutely do it now while you're in the process of like putting them there, but don't activate them. Just say in the future. I get what you're saying, but it's just kind of like these are just people in the world that could be referenced.
Well, they can't be heirs though, is the thing.
Well, they're not going to heirs to the throne. That it's just these are the people of the house, right? So there's a chance for sons, daughters, siblings, etc.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
And these are we can have. Here's how it works. So we can have up to 3 bastard children.
Okay.
We can have up to 2 what would be
legitimate
adjacent children. So you might have the king and the king's brother. Like they're legitimate, but they're not like the preference. And you can also have a single, like firstborn, legitimate. They're the next heir. And essentially this works. And it might even be that, essentially this might.
I just feel like we've never made people, like we've never pre-made people in any of the games that we like, because if we're going into this to like King is Dead
as far as character creation, right? But one of the problems and the criticisms of Unrestful Hearts is people say I don't have a framework to create characters the way you do, Grant.
That's fair.
So what I would do is these are what I'd call sidebar items. So let's put this in what I would call like a table. Let's just call it a sidebar. Ideas. And let's like say the firstborn heir to the house. They don't need a name. They don't need anything. It's just kind of like, hey, you're potentially the head of the house. Because there's going to be other ideas too. And this is it's world building. You can always throw it out or erase it or write
Yeah,
over it.
that's fair. That's fair. I don't know. I'm bad at like making people. It's like, let's just
A
do
lot of
the
people, a lot of people are, but even in The King is Dead, like if you think of all the intrigues in Muster, all the topics of conversation,
Yeah, it's
conversation
true.
over
There's
food.
like, oh, there's a dude who does a thing. Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
Yeah, and so these are just people. They may or may not be player characters. They may or
I'm
may not.
very sorry, Vincent and Meg, for describing your very well written Intrigus muster as there's a dude who does a thing.
There's a dude that does a thing. Vince, Meg, there's a dude that does a thing, and they'd probably be like, "Oh yeah." Um. So yeah, we know that there's at least a legitimate heir, and it may be that the player character is like Lord of the House or Lady of the House or Laird of the House, or Suzerain or any other title. The next, we know that here's a question:
Yeah.
what type of terrain? Do we want hills, mountains, plains, or wetlands to be their primary, like?
I want like charred tundra.
I like that. Charred tundra. Ooh, man, these guys and gals and it peoples and folks, uh, they're kind of cool. Like, just think about this. Like, this is where the monsters were and are. This is
This
where
is
there's
like,
a
I just
small
want this
minor house.
realm to be like Dark Souls, the game. Dark Souls, the realm.
This is House Dark Souls. Um, so they
House from Soft.
So yeah, they've faced annihilation. They've they've it's this large, expansive region. There's roads and rivers. Like, it's easy to travel through, but it's not safe to travel through.
Yeah. I think there's like tundra, but there's also like probably swamp, like swampy bits.
Yep.
Um like really shitty Newfoundland. I don't know, like bogs. Like I imagine like, poor people will like dig through the bogs for iron and stuff. Um
I like that. So I'm gonna add the charred tundra and swamp. Okay, so that's that.
Also then creepy things can come up from the swamp. Creepy swamp monsters.
Ooh, I love deep, deep creatures. I like how you're like getting into it over there.
This is how I world build. I'm really glad I'm playing this game with you because I'm terrible at
It's
world
just
building.
this is like a game to generate a house. If I do recommend the Kobold Press Guide to World Building for actual world building. It's great. It has a bunch of diverse creators on it from all over that have really good approaches. The next thing is what's our wealth score?
Our wealth was 22.
That's not bad. But this is something that I will add. Something that's slipping into poverty. So it's a house that's waning.
Ooh.
Like, the thing is, that table is skewed towards waning.
Yeah.
And
That's fair.
like heavy, but we're slowly going there.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose it would make sense for a game like Song of Ice and Fire to have a lot of not doing well houses.
Yeah, and then last, what's our population?
What is our population? 16 question mark?
Yeah, slipping into poverty. Not a lot of people to help the economy. So whatever it is, like, even monster hunting's not going. It's not what it used to be.
No. I mean, maybe it has something to do with the fact that like maybe we're moving away from magic, or like there's another house that has like that thinks magic is heretical or something, or some kind of movement where like just monster parts aren't as in demand anymore.
Mm-hmm. And then our power, um,
Power was
essentially.
21.
Okay, so that's essentially this gets a little more tactical, but when you look at it this way, we have what did I say earlier about our army? A modest force of soldiers.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna add a note.
I think maybe instead
Better
of,
trained than expected. Go
I
ahead.
think maybe instead of like monster trading, monster parts, like that's their economy, but like they don't spend a lot of time on the economy because they're like constantly fighting back against the monster threat. And so like they don't have and they do such a good job of it because they have a good army that people like don't give money to them, or you know, the other houses don't really think of it as a problem.
Last, go ahead and roll 1d6 for me.
But I want to make a note of that.
Yes.
Last
Actually,
defense. 1d8. Okay. Last defense against the monster threat. 4.
So why did I do that?
I don't know.
Yeah, this so we're most known for the maester that does all the teaching.
Oh, can we not use the word maester? I hate that word.
Then let's just call it
Like
professor.
teacher. Yeah, some other word for teacher. I just didn't like the word maester. Doesn't feel good to say.
That's fair. Let's call it let's the Grand Josiah. No, it's going to be
we can come up with a name later if we want to just be like,
yeah, or just the title.
Sure.
So it's just most known for their educator. So they have a genius of sorts that lives there, and all members of the house can benefit from this great educator who is part of their house. So they're kind of like an NPC to the side. We can come up with the motto later, but we do want to leave a spot for it.
Okay.
Sometime.
I feel like a motto might be a fun thing to get, like to potentially. Well, no.
During King is Dead is a good one too.
Yeah, is to like have the players come up with it. Although I do think we maybe instead of a motto, let me just double check that we don't have this. Yeah. One of the things that I find really helpful when I play The King is Dead is the section of the houses that like, this is what your house expects from you. Mm-hmm. These behaviors, right? So maybe instead of a motto, we can come up with some values.
Yeah, that's I want to say that's further down the line, but let's put a list of values.
Okay. Well, we can create all the houses first and then decide values later.
Yeah, and it might even be that's something that as prep for the game, like tell people to pick their house in advance and just be like, give us the 3 values.
Yeah. And we do have we have some ideas about the kind of factions that might come up because of the things that happened in our For the Queen game, right? We kind of talked about that. So we can figure out how they fit into that later. But let's do the chunky bits first.
Yeah. So next, roll 13d6.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? Thank you,
Rob
Schwab.
That's too many d6. 46.
Oh, so close to being a duck. It's worse than a duck. It's my arch rival.
I just want to say I rolled 8 successes in this fake burning wheel game.
The primary feature is a goose.
Yeah!
These are the
this
goose
is
knights.
just Canada.
These
this
are
is
swan
just
knights. Yeah.
the goose knights, just big swans. Really? No.
Well, the reason I put swan knights, that comes from Tolkien. That's if you actually
I don't
the
know
Outlanders. So there's Outlanders that came to fight against Mordor, and there was a bunch of them. They came from all over, and they explained how there were some swan knights above them. It's just one line, one sentence, but it's like swan knights. The heck is that? In the card game, it was great because all the swan knights would make themselves stronger. So this is the Goose House, House Goose. It happened.
House
There's some
Goose.
geese that have been trying to fight me forever. And then roll 15d6.
That is too many D6, Robert. 52. Also, still an incredible amount of successes in fake burning wheel.
So it's like a jeweled goose or a gemmed goose. So there's also, like, there might be a gem maybe for ore with a goose in it. And wow. Maybe it's a goose with jeweled eyes. Doesn't matter, but we know that the jewel sits on their coat of arms. Hachi Machi. And then next is where we can decide any of these that we want to describe. I would actually say I wouldn't describe the lord, the ladies, the lairds, the heirs. Did you put those geese? No.
Yeah, I did.
No.
Hey, Jillian.
Hey, how's it going, Jillian? So then it gives us the choice, which we don't have to do, is when you're building out the house, members of the family and or retainers, if you want to build them out, they have a series of questions you can ask about them. For example, what was their birth order? How old are they? Do they have any moments of failure or shame that we might reference? Do they have any moments of greatness or glory? How are they perceived in the realm? What do they look like? Name one event. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste these questions into the sidebar. So at any point we can... these BBs. Why did I put BBs in there? Sorry.
Here, I can do this while you...
Okay. Well, I was going to say, that's the last step. And what they do is there's like a group of people. We don't have to fill that out because for King is Dead, just knowing some of these questions are maybe good to throw out. Or you can ask them as people are designing their knights or their princes and princes. Because those are going to be characters that have like claim on the throne.
Yeah.
So... that goose. Ugh. There is a flock of geese that every day want to fight me. Like, they're so territorial. It's because their babies were just born.
Yeah.
But like, they'll come up out of the pond onto the sidewalk, turn and hiss at me.
Yeah. The city where I live in is like overtaken by Canada geese. But it's not as bad as the city where Kiana lives, especially their university campus, which is like a Canadian geese breeding ground, like nesting ground. And they get so territorial that every year the university has to put out a map of like this is where they're nesting. Here are places to avoid. So if you don't want to get attacked by geese. The geese respect me. I like walk by them and they'll like yell at me or they'll like hiss at me and squawk at me and I'll just be like, don't talk to me that way. And then they'll just walk away. But
they we've had mixed results. Do we want to name the house now that we've gone through all these steps, or do we want to save that till later?
Let's name them last.
Okay.
Because I'm bad at names.
I'm good at them. If we just pick a language of origin, it's not hard.
This is. I don't know. See, this is why don't ask me these questions.
All right, so what we'll do is I'm going to look at a medieval Finnish last name.
Okay.
And I'm going to drop them in... I'm just going to drop them... Oops. I'm not going to give the full list. I'm going to give the most common list. Because the full list is very long. So let's pick... one of those. Koskinen, Lane.
Where did you drop them?
Under where it says House A.
Oh. House Lane is good, I like.
I like Lane. It's simple and it's easy.
Yeah.
Alright, so gone. Yeah, so House Lane is essentially completed for all intents and purposes. Took Dreams in the Goose House. So yeah, there's a lot there you can see where it's just kind of like, look, there's going to be a sad prince or princess that has claim to the throne. And we have to think about, kind of the origins of these houses at some point. Because we know that there was a royal line. How were they tied? And there might be a couple different reasons for them to be tied.
Mm-hmm.
All right. House member questions. I'm going to put family member. And next, we'll come to House B. So I need you to roll, I think it was 3d6?
3d6.
Yeah.
Oops. That's a 10.
Did we get a 10 last time? Let me double check.
Yeah, I think we did.
That would be easy. They just live in the same spot. Or they're fighting. Go back up.
Sorry, just 1 second. Can you, entertain the crowd?
I can. Hey, everybody. My name is Grant. I am very entertaining. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to sing for you all. Oh, hi, Michelle. Miscellaneous is in the chat. I see you now. So we're taking requests. Hi, Jillian. We're taking requests for songs. And Lauren's back, so we'll hold the singing till later. I was taking song requests.
Oh.
Yeah, we don't have to.
Sorry. There was stuff with our car, and I had to deal with that.
Yeah, if you gotta take care of that, we can always...
No, it's fine. It's not as bad as we thought, so...
The second house. So 10. No, this is a very different realm than the other one. Wow. So let's see. This is going to be very unique, because I don't even know these. So they're going to be... Alright, so let me look through one of this. So, highest mountain peaks of the Far East, the most secure of all realms. So, um, these people, uh, they are, essentially the high secluded mountainous region. They are high, high, high. Let me see if there's anything, and they are known. The people are extremely faithful to their house. And then we're going to have some modifiers, and I'm curious to see what those are, since this seems very much on the nose. Do, 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 do. A lack of modifiers for almost everything except defense. Hi, Michaela. Good to see you. Thank you for recommending Nobilis today. When I tweeted.
Oh, and you're looking for our map making game.
Mm-hmm. So
I have ideas.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. So for this house, we know they're going to be in the highest mountain peaks, the Far East. It's going to be the most secure. These people are very faithful, very loyal. And now we're going to do 76 multiple times. So let's throw them out. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times.
Sorry, right. I'm sorry. I
It's
got
all right.
really excited because people are shouting at me about stuff.
That's good.
Got real excited about the Babylon Equity Project. $29.
So 49 for defense. And next.
23.
33 for influence. And next.
19.
14 for land, so they don't have a lot of lands. And then again,
Well, that makes sense. They're in a big mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Mountain that's hard to climb on. 21.
That's pretty good, but they still get a -10. They don't have a lot of legal influence in the way laws are written. Actually, I think that's the amount of lawlessness in their lands. And next.
21.
Not a lot of people live there. And the last two.
27.
And the final one.
16.
All right, so now we're going to see what kinds of defenses they have, and the influence, and the lands, etc. So
Very defensed.
that was 49 for defense.
Yeah. The defensiest.
Yeah, that's way up there. It's almost to like the extraordinary level, where it's like,
I think it's like a Black Panther, they like live inside the mountain thing.
yeah, that's the way.
Like that gorilla. I forget the name of the people in Black Panther but they have the gorilla masks.
Mm-hmm. This is
M'Baku.
M'Baku. Yeah, this is similar to that.
Well, that was just the one guy, but
well, I was going to say these their defenses are, it's defensible terrain. People have made the fortifications. They're excellent. So darn near impenetrable. And a lot of this stuff, too, it's just for flavor. Like, so the audience knows. It's like, well, this is very, like, crunchy, min-maxy. That's just so we can figure out where we land on the table. But these are the type of things people would be saying about this house in the high mountain peaks.
Mm-hmm.
Influence.
Yeah, it's like roll all of these dice, but then your numbers don't. I mean, they matter, but like
Yeah.
they matter. It's like a fairly good marrying of narrative with crunch,
Yeah.
which we love. We love narrative crunch.
This is also a minor house that doesn't have. They have not a lot of land, so there's probably, it's like the single mountain community.
Mm-hmm.
They're the Rhode Island of houses.
One tiny mountain. Oop.
Small
This is
land.
It's this mountain.
Yeah, they just live in the peak.
That's
With
it.
my cloud krakens. What is the next one after lands? Is it law? For like an 11?
It is law. Law 11. The lawlessnessist.
Yep. So they're kind of like the other ones. So this is
I'm
almost like
sorry, I'm in a real weird.
that's allowed. You're streaming. You've been streaming for a while with no break, and we're not even smooching yet.
We're not gonna smooch today. This is a smooch.
Not in this stream, but maybe the next one.
Maybe.
Tune in for Ultraviolet Crest.
Tune in super late.
Hand holding.
Well, I will be even more tired. Yeah.
All right. What's our score for power?
27.
27's pretty
I like
good.
that this is an incredibly defensible house that nobody really cares about. What the hell
Other
did you
people
turn
love
on?
them.
I'm so sorry.
All right. We do need all the smooches. And what was their population?
16.
Yeah, they're not much larger than the other one anyway. See, the other one is small and spread out over many lands. Like, they have a lot of holdings. But they...
Canada.
Yeah. They're, with your geese. But these, they're all concentrated in one location. And then what did we get for wealth?
Wealth, 16. So not very rich.
They're poor.
They're poor because they live in a mountain.
Mountains?
Not much economy up in the mountains.
No. But they're a very loyal people.
They don't even have like a... I feel like this might be like a house that has a different religion.
I think so.
You know? Like...
Like,
because there has to be something that
Dragon
sets
Age.
them...
Well,
no, not that
here's
mountain
the
village. Like,
Haven.
But like something that sets them apart.
So here's part of the problem, though. So when King is dead, everyone's going to make a claim for the throne.
Yeah.
We've been talking about how divine right calls. So if they're a different religion, they might have a hard time.
Well,
claiming
divine
the
right was important for one house, but it might not be.
Oh, yeah,
because that's what I think, it is that because we've said this is a divine right, but then we find out that it's been like a sham for 100 years. So
oh, you're right.
Yeah.
And we also said that our queen, she's modernizing things.
Yeah, she's been more egalitarian, right? So
we've done that. We've figured out. So next we get to determine their founding, their house history.
Founding. So I roll what, a 1d6 this time?
1d6 first.
3.
They're an old house.
Old house. Free poutine for all. I would like some poutine right now.
There is a place near here that supposedly has some really good...
Is it like real poutine though, or is it like American poutine?
No, you gotta go to... There's only one place here that would sell real stuff. There's 2 places that sell like fake, but there's one place hidden in Old Fredericksburg that has it.
Because sometimes I see like Americans take pictures of their poutine, and it's like, and I mean, I live in Ontario. We don't have like we don't have really good poutine here either, but It's not shredded cheese.
I'd go and take some pictures, but you'd still judge, and I would have
No,
wasted.
I wouldn't judge you.
All right, so roll 1d6 and add 1 to it.
I believe you know what poutine is. You're making that joke, that fake game about poutine.
Oh, yes. Gosh.
So you know what real poutine
What
is.
did
That was,
what did they do to you? The breakup
what did they do to you, Canada?
What did they do to you? All right, so
I rolled a 4.
5 historical events. Hot diggity dog. So
I feel like
you're
this
gonna
is
roll-
definitely a religion.
yes. Roll 3d6.
13.
Ooh, they earned favor. Their lands are going to increase. So they're going to come down off the mountain. Old as bogs. No.
I'm sorry. You're trying to do this serious thing, and I'm like, bleh. This is my other mode when I'm not playing romance games. I'm just weird. Favor more lands,
Yeah,
more
I've got
influence, and less.
more wealth as well. So they've recently had some things bestowed upon them. So unlike our, monster hunting people, this mountain recently in their history, because they're an old house, they've received all these boons and blessings.
They found a vein of something, and now they can mine.
Yes, and because they found the vein and made the nation rich, one of the queens probably gave them, or the one king gave them some perks. Now they might lose all this. Now roll 3d6 again. They're gonna have 5 historical events.
That is 12.
Oh. Wow. So they're actually going to go from a minor house to a larger house. It's so they go from the small minor house, they grow in size. Yeah. The house influence grows. In fact, originally, I think I just put a minor. Actually, they already were a minor house. They've moved from. No, they were a small minor house. Whatever.
When you say more lands, more influence, and less banditry, we don't have to worry about their scores or whatever, right?
No, we're just gonna make notes that this is how it was. Then events happened in their history.
We'll make it pretty on a world building document that isn't a blob.
And roll 3d6 for me again.
Do I have to roll this 5 times for each of them?
Yeah.
That's a 9.
Treachery. Their influence was taken away by law, by the crown.
Because they were heretics.
So were their lands, but their military might grew drastically. So they had a small, well-trained defense. They grew after this treacherous time. So it may be that, one of their great heroes was asked to lead someone. And so, yeah, these fools, they've gone power. So 3d6 again.
Dun, dun, dun. That's 6.
Madness.
I love this house already.
Yes. All right, madness. Inbreeding fell secrets, disease, or other issues can produce all sorts of madness amongst the people, including its rulers. We're definitely going to put uh, all aspects crumbled drastically. They are viewed as a fallen house. So yeah, you look at that. Like they found the ore. This is almost like, you know how we said there's monsters. They delved too deep, right? They awoke madness, demon spawns, all that. Yeah.
Maybe this is the village from Dragon Age.
That's the way it's going. One final roll.
Come on. That is an 11.
11 is going to be. So the last one is an infrastructure. We'll put that their military and their wealth grew.
Nice.
And yeah, so everything crumbled. They salvaged the army, and it's one of these things where like their army's not even huge. It's like they got to this massive number of soldiers and they all died. Like they marched them to their death. This is
Yeah.
So that's their last
But so like infrastructure.
yeah.
What do we say? Their army survived.
They had a period of peace and prosperity where their military began to grow again, as did their wealth. So it might be that, you know, the mad leaders, they're done, and finally it's like, look, we know there was madness in our past, but we're here to reclaim the glory of our house.
Yes. There was like a military coup.
Yeah. and then they're going to come down from the mountain and be like, by the way, we're taking the crown.
Yeah.
I love this house. They're horrible, but I love them. Like they got some baggage.
Yeah. I really hope they don't win the game. Really hope they don't win. The king is dead.
So
All
we
right.
end up in Unrestful Hearts with those
Unrestful Hearts with like weird mad knights.
So yeah, the next one, let's look at some of the holdings. So go ahead and roll a d6 for me.
5.
A massive tower. A massive freestanding tower.
Nice.
That's where they
On
live.
top of a mountain, so extra.
Yes. The madness. They were building the tower to heaven.
Ooh, maybe instead of digging too deep, they went too high.
Yeah. Oh. They found the dragons in the sky. Building. So they are in a tower. A single freestanding tower. Then the next thing that we would do is we know that they are in they have like no choice. Mountainous terrain. They only have the one option. And then lastly, I think
Give me an animal. Right?
extreme poverty. Actually, no. They had They're still low. They're lower than everyone else. It's because having to take care of the people and stuff like that, it starts sliding. So they have potential, but currently it's not great. That's probably one reason why they're sending their leader down the mountain to take the crown. They're like, look, just rob the bank. Rob the bank. Yeah, so now let's do the code.
It was like somebody was like in a library being like, we do it, we have a claim. Go.
And next, let me get to that coat of arms. 13d6.
Oh my god. For an animal?
Yeah.
Okay. $46.
That's a goose again.
Oh, let's re-roll.
I like how you roll a 46 again.
It can't be. We can't have two goose houses unless we have different kinds of
white goose, red goose. It's like those red geese up on the mountain.
No,
different geese.
Gooses. No, mountain geese don't make sense. 40.
Two-headed eagle.
Nice.
And then they'll have a motto. I think you need to roll a d8 for me, because this is going to be the...
4.
You pop up. Roll again.
3.
All right, so they are known. The great guild halls exist here. So, essentially, their mountain is where you will find the great guilds. Not necessarily artisans per se, like the great artists, but all the crafts workers. Their great halls are kept in that mountain and are loyal to this house.
I don't know why I'm putting pictures in, but I'm putting pictures in.
I like that. And
looks like an intense bird.
We know we're gonna have the sidebar with other questions later.
Do we want to do the person of interest?
Yes.
People of interest.
So it's gonna be the guild master.
Yeah.
There are no heirs.
Ooh. I mean, besides obviously the player character.
Well, it's not like... So it's kind of like this. It may be that they are the sibling of the current house leader, or they are the house leader themselves. They're looking to have heirs.
What? Yeah?
Eagles.
Well, do you want to come say hello to the stream, Rita? Do you want to come say hello?
The house lord lady. So whoever rules the house is still there. They might be a PC. Maybe a... Interesting. So, the goose house, the twin-headed eagle. Do you have energy in you for more houses?
Yeah, totally.
Let's name this house. So, what language?
What language? Let's just do English.
There's a lot of English variants.
Anglo-Saxon.
Okay, let me go to an Anglo-Saxon name. Anglo-Saxon appears in my book too many times. All right, these. Come on, names. Okay. Anglo-Saxons had no family names, historically.
Well,
Thanks.
well,
You picked the one language in the book with no family names. We could always do a first name.
Here, look.
House Grimm.
What?
I
Grimm?
said House Grimm. Snell. Benny.
I have. Ham. No.
Ham House. Dayor
Ham
House.
Holloway's good.
Holloway's a great name.
House Holloway.
Now, that would be traditionally in English, a road that goes through a hollow. But it's fine.
A hollow mountain, then. I don't know.
No, that works. Ooh, yes. They're the Mountain Road House. That works. I buy that. House Tulane. All right. House Holloway, you have seen some hard times.
Or House Holloway.
All right. So next. So that went a lot faster that time.
Yeah. I think we got this.
Yeah, so let's do... Whoops. I popped into Twitter for a second. Let's do the next house. House C. And we need 3d6.
Um... 3d6, sorry. 14.
Why am I not anywhere near? Like I thought I put in the right page number, but apparently I didn't. So this is going to be 14. Come on. Interesting. So let's see what this says about them. So it is a fertile country made up mostly of rivers, and it is a border realm.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab this, and then we're gonna do our favorite part of rolling a bunch of dice a bajillion times.
Yeah. Roll
It would be nice
dice.
if it was just like percentile, like just roll 2d6 or 2d10 and
is this like an only d6 system, I wonder?
Probably.
And that's why they're like, we have to generate all of these numbers using just d6s.
No.
29.
All right, well, let me see what my modifiers are first.
Sorry, 1 second.
Sure, take all the time you need. For you, the viewers at home, my name is Grant Ellis, and I am here. I'm going to put picture in picture. Actually, I'm not. You can't say it.
We are all good.
All right. So, go ahead and roll again for influence.
Um, $20.
They're fairly influential. And again,
20 again.
and again, 4 more times.
25.
More.
26.
Ooh, that's interesting. They actually have a large population compared to everyone else.
29.
And lastly,
23.
they're very wealthy, comparatively. All right. So let's see. Actually, I'm going to move this to a different screen so I can see much more quickly. So they are defensible. Defensible house. Their influence. They are a minor house. All these little minor houses.
Yeah, I feel like that might change.
Yeah, it
I feel like this is skewed for like a Song of Ice and Fire, where like it might be skewed lower.
Here's what would skew it the other way. You end up in a land that has like claim to the throne. And it's just like, hey, if you end up here, you have the chance to be a large house. Likewise, there's also existing houses in the game it starts. But yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. We can
We're
always
also
like
rolling fairly. We are
yeah.
using so we're using a Song of Ice and Fire, a Game of Thrones edition, to generate the houses. There's a chapter in the book to create your own houses and lands and things like that. And that's where we're using this. One of my friends from Off the Table community used this in their D&D campaign, which I thought was pretty cool. They used a lot of other systems that I had used in Unrestful Hearts as well, very similar, for a lot of homebrew. Their lands are very modest stretch of land. Oop. Get that house out of there. Let's pop back over to the Roll20 so you guys can see. The next, the amount of law. Typical level of law throughout. So this is the first. Crime is common, but not out of control. So, they're still criminals, but they probably have police. So you don't have to worry about, like, bandits like the other one. You have more petty thieves, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Modest population. Multiple hamlets. Multiple towns. They're very different in feel than the other two so far. Like, House is minor, they have law, there's people, their power as well.
This feels like it might be the Queen's house.
Most likely.
Which is why I'm kind of like, feel like we might just throw away whether or not they're major or minor houses.
Oh, they're definitely all going to get thrown away. Because especially if it's 100 years in the future, I'm assuming everyone is going to have, like, equal claim to the throne, more or less.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole point of The King is Dead, right? Is that everybody has an equal claim.
So they have a trained force of soldiers, including cavalry and possibly ships. Lastly, common wealth, enough to get by. They're spending it on all the people. These are good folks. I feel like these
Yeah.
are the good folks.
I mean, this feels like the queen. This feels like what the queen
Yeah.
and her family has been doing.
Yeah, these definitely, her family line, it all comes from good old Andre anyway, so.
Oh yeah, 100%. Andre, by the way, for those of you who tuned in last night, was what we decided to name the advisor that Grant played.
The High Advisor to the Crown. So go ahead and roll 1d6 now. We're going to get into how old this house is.
1.
Ancient. This is the crown.
This is definitely the crown.
So 1d6 plus 3 historical events.
Oh my God. Okay. That's 8 historical events.
Yeah, so you might want to use roll 20 and just call the numbers out.
That is 15. Yeah, I'm gonna use roll 20.
Yeah, I'm going to put... Ooh, it is the freaking Queen's house. Wait till you find out what the next one is.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
What is it?
I'm going to tell you after we get them all, because this is going to tell the story of their people.
Okay. 12.
Let me scroll down so the audience can see. All right, 12.
Well, the audience can see, but I can't.
Well, you're in the Google Doc.
13.
Wow. This is the Queen's house.
Yeah,
It has to be. Yeah.
it has to be. Okay. 6.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
17.
All right.
12.
Okay.
11. And this is the last one, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
10.
This is 100% the Queen's house. So I'm going to tell you how this works. It began with a villain. That was the first historical event. There was a villain in their family who was known throughout the land, and it increased influence greatly, and the house grew in size and power. But the lands became lawless. So that was the first thing that happened to them. And you're going to see the whole story of their people now. Then they ascended to become the dominant house, growing their lands, military might, wealth, and influence. Next, they earned favor from all, restoring law, growing the military force again, and let me double check, make sure I got the right one, and increasing their holdings significantly. All right. Then madness struck. So
Madness
all
again.
things fell apart. But the house was significantly stronger than others. Next, conquest. They warred against all, restoring all things through might, and tightening their grip. But the land drifted to chaos. Next, the house ascended further. Their power and might extended through all things. They tightened their defenses and increased their wealth. Lastly, they began to enter a decline, losing influence, lands, power, and portions of the treasury. Yeah, this is the story of the people. So when our game begins with the king is dead, look at this story here, like this history. Yeah. So you had a villain, they ascended and took control. They earned favor from everyone and became like the dominant leader. Then the madness happened. And while they lost everything, they're like, that's fine. We have the strongest military in the world. We will go to war. And that is what they did. And they won the war. And then, again, they were blessed by many things to grow and maintain their position as the dominant house or reclaim it. They began to tighten the grip, the defenses, and increase their wealth. But now they're rotting, most likely on the inside. They're losing influence. They're losing lands. They're losing power. So they're starting to slip away. This is most definitely the Queen's house.
Yeah, this is definitely the Queen's house.
Yeah. I like that, Jim, in chat. This is just a few proper names away from an opening crawl. Yeah.
I figure our Queen is dead, or for the Queen game, maybe in like the last three, one of the last two or three events is where it took place.
Yeah. And you
probably the Ascent, right? We can assume that she was successful in what she was doing. And turned a tide in the war for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe ended the war.
Yeah, you can see the madness struck. It either hit with either her grandmother or the king before her.
I think it's older, because I think the madness is what starts the war.
Yeah, but we established that Andre remembers the time before the war began.
Ooh, yes, we did.
Gosh, was it the love madness that struck?
No, but I like that. I like the idea that it's the same madness as House Holloway.
Yep, it's got to be. It's
like,
probably...
There's definitely magic now.
I like that. I think it's going to be more fun with magic. Well, magic and Starcrossed. All right. So, geez. Awesome. That's a bunch of stuff. Do you have time to make another house, or do you gotta go? Like, we're fine. We're not done with that house.
Oh, God. Yeah. Okay.
But let's look at... we've actually moved through it really fast. Like, we're at the point where, like, roll a d6 for me.
That's a 6.
Ooh. This is definitely Queen. Superior Castle. A massive stronghold.
Yeah, it was a big old castle.
Yeah, several towers on a steep curtain wall, moat. Yeah, so they have that. And then roll a d8 for me.
A D8. 6 also.
They have hills, plains, and wetlands. Um, you got a 6?
Yeah.
So this is going to be their thing. Let's see who they have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Access to a mine. I see them being in league with those mountain folk.
Maybe it's a different mine. Maybe there's
I think
a.
so. So great riches belong to them. They're clearly the wealthiest house right now. They have access to a mine. It's a strategic location. This house has the most impressive stronghold. And see, the thing is like cool. Like if it was a Song of Ice and Fire, or Game of Thrones, and we're playing that, we'd be like, oh yeah, we have that defensible position. You and I are probably thinking like they have the best ballroom for dancing. We're holding a dance there.
Gonna have the best parties.
Yeah.
Steal so much time together.
Every tapestry tells a story. And has a story that took place behind it. So let's see. Go ahead and roll 13d6.
Oh God, yeah. Every time you tell me that, it's always a surprise again, and I'm always mad about it. 37.
Dragon.
Perfect. Loves it.
They are the dragons.
Dragon.
Wow. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So let's see. So they're going to have uh multiple heirs, sons, daughters, children, primary, secondary, expendable. Um because their points are so high in some of those categories, that's what determines that. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, take your pick. You could probably play a game of The King is Dead with just this house.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that was feeling pretty good, and so
You gotta name them, right?
yeah. So what language? We've been
I
doing
was
French.
uh well, you were doing French. I was thinking that she was like
It can
um
change over time.
like some but definitely some kind of romance language like French, Italian, Romanian was what I was kind of imagining just from the art of her.
Um,
So you
let's
we could do French for sure.
I'm almost thinking how. That's why we got to play the other games. Like, does Branyon's legacy play into this at all? Does what do we know about her children? What do we know about her grandchildren? Who did they marry? It's like I threw a Dutch name into like there was a prince consort.
Yeah.
So I think Italian. I love Italian names.
Yeah. Italian names are good.
You're good. All right, here we go. All right.
I cannot find a good picture of a dragon that well,
Um.
I lied. I found a great picture of a dragon.
Okay, so do we want to go? All right, let's. I'm gonna give the common names. Ferrari.
No.
Here's the common ones, but there are so many
Yeah, there's like
other
a million
beautiful Italian
Italian.
names. Yeah. Um, like here's some of the common ones. El Esposito,
I know like
Peretti.
I know people whose names are all of these.
Yeah, well, these are like common ones. I'm gonna paste just like the big list, so you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
it.
yeah. Do it.
There's
Give
a
me the
lot.
big list.
Tebaldi,
Uh,
Giordino.
Bertolucci. Oh, I like that.
Which one?
Bertolucci. Or Bertolucci.
Bertolucci.
No, Keith.
I see.
Or no, Chi. Sorry. Johnny. No. Skiki. Shit. Pianchetti. No, it's
Depends. Double C or
Bertolucci.
CH.
Yeah.
Yeah.
CH. Bertolucci. Oh, these are good. All of these are good names, though.
House Bologna.
Oristano. I like that.
Barberini.
Uguccione. Uguccione is very good. Vecchio, just old. House old.
The old house. They are an ancient house.
Vecchio, yeah. Vespucci is really good.
Yeah, I like Vespucci.
Yeah, we could do Vespucci. They were real life important people in Florence.
House Pinocchio. All right. Man, yeah. It's like as I scroll through these names, it's like every girl I had a crush on in middle school.
All Italian.
There were a lot of Italian girls in middle school, at least Italian last names apparently. Cool. Boop. And I had a couple.
Let me put my dragon. Dragon. Unable.
How dare you?
Rude. It's probably giant. That's why.
I actually like the juxtaposition that we can have some like poverty-stricken monster hunting houses to like these beautiful, wealthy, well-protected. There's almost no crime in any other lands. They've abolished most of it at this point. People just feel safe there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the dragon picture was huge.
All right, I think we can get one more out.
You can get one more out.
Okay. You got it. Yeah.
I got the time. If you got the time.
I've got the time, and I got the spoons. Why don't we do this? If we could take like a 3-minute break.
Okay.
The main reason for that is I want to drink an energy drink now and not when Eric's game starts.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go to be back. We'll be back in like 5 minutes.
Thanks, friends.
Yeah, let me fix this real quick.
Oh, is everything okay?
Yeah, I just got to fix a title. And then we'll be back in a few. 2, 1, and it's us.
Welcome back. We are back finishing up our last house for the thing, for our house of for the queen to the king is dead.
We'll just call it Half Sick of Shadows, like all games
Half
are
Sick
that
of
now.
Shadows. Yeah. I mean, that is why I gave it a title, right? Yeah. So I think this house, by the way, I mean, we'll find out more about it, but I think this house should be the foreign house that is
Brannion's house.
Brannion's house. Yeah.
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 The one he and Martine may possibly form. I'm so worried for those two. I think they're going to be doomed from the start.
Don't know if they're gonna be doomed, but
I doubt it. Well, it's hard to tell. Like, she's very crafty. I don't know what's gonna happen.
I don't know what's gonna happen either. Let's just find out. But it's Brannion's house.
Yeah. So this
Brannion's house. But it's also the Queen Mother's house, right?
If she tells him. He may never learn.
He may never. We'll find out, but that's where the bloodline is coming from anyway.
Yeah, it's gonna come from Brannion.
Yeah.
Brannion was put in charge of a house. Or here's what we'll do. We'll find out because we'll roll to see how old it is. It maybe he was adopted in this house, but this is definitely the foreign power. This is the stories go that Andre had a tryst with someone overseas during the war and created Brannion. So first things first, let me do a little bit of setup on my side. There's a few things that will make this easier. The first thing I need you to do is roll 3d6.
That is a 10.
Can you roll again? I think we already had a 10.
That is a 9.
All right, we'll see where this is. Let me clear out a couple points. And these people are going to be very cool. I'm not there in the book yet. All right, and all right, let's learn about their realm. I like abstract realms better than geography, anyways. So go up, go up, go up. All right. So this realm. Okay, let's see. I've got to make sure that. Okay. It's the hill region. Known for having great wealth, power, numerous ports, countless mines.
Sure sounds like a foreign power to me.
Numerous, ports, countless mines. Well,
I'm really excited because all of the speculative geology that I was doing, there's so many mines. I can do all sorts of fantasy geology now.
The whole campaign is going to turn into that.
Just make up rocks and metals and minerals and
Gosh, yeah, that's. I mean, when the Queen Mother dies, there's a good chance she leaves all of her personal fortunes and lands to Brannion instead of the Queen overseas. It's hard to tell. That could start a war.
That could start a war.
Yeah, it's like this nameless knight has just somehow.
Depends if he knows if it becomes known or not.
Well, we'll find out. It's one of those
We'll
things.
find out next week.
Oh my gosh, these poor people. So let's see. So yeah, all their bonuses like go into wealth. Jeez, they married for money. It's obvious. Um,
Oh, that is some wealth bonuses.
yeah.
All right.
So
Now
let's do everyone's
roll.
favorite 76.
5 million dice. Just use other dice if you want. Use percentile dice. They're not scary. 29. 24. 29. 28.
Don't go too fast.
25.
I think I missed a couple in there. So
29.
hold on. Okay, I've caught up with you. All right,
Great. How many more do I need? Just one more?
one more.
28.
They are rich AF. Yeah. Jeez.
Whoa.
So
Well,
as far as their defenses, kind of like early on, yeah, they are very similar to the river folk.
I like, by the way, that we talking about the Vespucci house as being the queen's house, but it's actually the queen's dad's house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
yes.
You're
yes,
right.
And.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's.
That's gonna be a thing, right?
I love our queen.
And like, I think that's going to be like a fun thing to explore as we develop more about like the intrigue and muster and stuff, and like claiming who gets to claim the queen's heritage. That's why I think this is the queen mother's house, right? And then so they get, is she a Vespucci or is she this other house? And like who gets to stay in power and all that good stuff. It's gonna be real interesting.
Oh, I'm already getting nervous for it. They're very similar. I mean, they're a powerful minor house. There's a strong voice.
Oh my god, all of this minor bullshit. They're all the same.
No, well, you think of it. There's small minor, then there's the regular, then there's like the powerful house. Now we had enough history though to cause that ancient house to go through the roof.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there's
it's very hard to it starts as a minor house, but now it becomes a major house and blah blah blah. Different system. This is our shit.
Yeah. So, typical level of law. Let me the power. Modest force of trained soldiers. Wow, you are right. Freaking Branyan is all about privilege, wealth, and everything. We'll be like, well, see, the way I viewed it is he was sent to like the boonies, but they are the boonies. They're the hill folk. He was sent to the hill folk and like learned to be a gentleman. That's really what his background was.
Mm-hmm. He got sent to his mommy's house.
Well, he was a career soldier. I think what it is when he joined the military, he learned about all people, all the men, all the women, all the folks. Despite his upbringing, which probably brought out the best in him, but he very clearly, when Andre hid him away,
Andre hid him away somewhere. That's what you're like, oh yeah, because you're trying to like, he's D'Artagnan and he's,
Well, no, I was using that. It's just if you are the captain of the guard, like the queen's captain or the knight's captain, even in a very rich nation, you can still be poverty stricken. Like D'Artagnan had nothing, and the stories of what he did are like horrible. I'm not going to repeat them, but it's just like he becomes very unlikable for like 40 chapters when he's just like not doing what he's supposed to. But it switches because he gets rich. He gets rich and doesn't know what to do with the money. And like the first thing he does is he offers to buy Raoul, who's like a vicomte, the viscount. He offers to buy him lunch, and Raoul's like, "You don't have any money." He's like doesn't trust him. He's like, "D'Artagnan, you can't buy anyone lunch. You're too poor." All right, let me. That's my tangent. I love the Musketeers novels, but this is about to get redonkulous, though.
Yeah, let's do it.
Typical population, farmsteads, a few small towns, a few primary fortifications, and lastly, rich. Your family wants for nothing. They're probably going to end up decadent, so wealthy they can afford to have 77 course feasts. More funds than they know
We're
what
setting
to
up
do with.
this poor star. It's just like dirt poor, nobody, nothing from nowhere, and the good-hearted son of
he was
all the money.
Yeah, I really want to call them House Ferrari, but I don't know.
House Ferrari, House Porsche.
Well, those are names. They're just names.
No.
I'm leaving it Ferrari for now.
No.
It's probably gonna change.
I was gonna say we haven't done a Hungarian.
No. We haven't done a Hungarian house, but I don't think Brannion's Hungarian.
Yeah, Brannion's not Hungarian, but neither was Andre.
I think this is actually going to be a French name.
Okay, fine.
I know.
Fine.
We can rename one of the other ones.
No, I like all of our names. It's fine.
Yeah, the only ones I might... Yeah, I like them. Like, House Lane could always change, but...
No. House Lane is... I like
it's our
House
first
Lane.
house. We made it. It's our first house we built together.
We can make the Hungarians later when we're...
That'll be later in the season.
Later in the season, the Hungarians appear.
Yeah, we're going to have to make them anyways for Unrestful Hearts.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We'll need a fifth house for Unrestful.
Okay, so they're extremely rich.
But this could be House Ferrari. I'm okay with it being House Ferrari. Vespucci and Ferrari, though, but they're the foreign power. Right, no, we were saying they're French.
I was going to say, yeah, Ferrari's Italian.
Yeah, we're going to say they're French. Okay. Well, we can name them last. Or now if you want. If you feel...
I think I'm going to do it just because I happen to be here in, like, these names. Oh, tempted to go Spanish as well.
Ooh. Well, what's Brannion? And did his mother or his father name him? And suddenly Hungarians! That's like my life. Surprise!
Yeah, I'm going to have to look that up. Brannion, I stole from my best friend in high school, Lester Brannion, who was actually full-blooded native Japanese. Like, he was a Japanese citizen.
Oh, yeah.
But his dad was from Kansas, and I was like, his name's Lester. I'm like, there are literally like 40,000 Lesters in the world. Why did you add another? I was just like, how dare you? Okay. Ooh, I'm not going to do Portuguese names.
Speaking.
Okay, so let's... All right.
I don't know if I've ever showed you this. I was thinking about how Hungarians are awesome. Have you ever seen these puzzle boxes?
I have seen those puzzle boxes.
Hungarian puzzle boxes. They're my favorite thing.
All right. That's gonna break my brain.
What?
It's just-
How to open this box?
yeah. Don't flip me off.
You do like so. You just slide the bottom open. This is an easy one. I think. Nope. Shoot. Oh. You slide. I did it. You slide this part out. And then the key's in here somewhere, I think. I have a smaller one that's easier, but essentially there's just lots of moving bits. And then you find the key somewhere. I don't remember how to open my own puzzle box. Anyway, have you found a name?
There's
House
so
Chevalier.
many names.
Chevalier.
That is that.
Night
That's
House.
up there. That's literally one of the common medieval French last names.
Because they weren't creative in medieval times.
No, they weren't. What letter? What's a good letter?
What's a good letter?
Yeah, because we have V. V's a
Oh.
beautiful letter too, so I almost feel like it's got to be almost like an M or something like that.
I was going to say an F. F is good.
If it's good,
S is good.
Ferrand, Foucault.
Richelieu. You can get all musketeers.
Yeah.
Shoot, I've forgotten the order in which I opened my puzzle box.
All right, let me throw up roll 20 so that the audience can see. So this is the rich, powerful, pretty good house. House. Here, I'm gonna give you a dump of a bunch, and that's
Okay.
how we're gonna pick it. So, I'm gonna create some space. There, gosh, don't be bold.
Oh my god, that's too many.
Well, that's not even all of them, right? So that's like there's gonna be some more that are gonna pop down at the top.
That's so many. Bienvenue. No. House hello.
Beauchamp. I'm trying to think. Is there Chappé? House Charles. Dubois. Fontaine, I'd be willing to do.
Fontaine. Yeah, that's. I still think Chevalier is funny because this is your boy.
Yeah, Brandon Chevalier. I don't want to, and it's the origin of the name. I would do Mercier.
Mercier, yeah.
House Mercier. That's what's got to be. I was thinking an M, because V is such a beautiful letter, and if there's the Vespucci house, kind of upside down, you can get. I mean, A is inverted, but I think doubling it up and having an M, so it's going to be House Mercier. Gosh, there's so many. We should have got Simon on to tell us. So these are going to be the hill people. They're in the hilly region. They're very rich. House Mercier. The house of the Queen Mother. Powerful. Well-trained troops. Good-sized population. So rich. And now, everyone's favorite part. Let's find out what skeletons they hide in their closets.
Yes.
So roll 1d6.
Do. That's a 5.
They're a recent house,
Oh.
so they're fairly new, which makes sense if it like comes from Branyan.
If it
Like,
comes from Branyan, yeah.
well, like there's his mother's house, or even the Queen Mother. So that Queen Mother caused a bunch of problems. She had. I almost think this is the Queen's house, ish. Like the Queen Mother, probably Martine eventually reveals, "Hey, by the way, Andre was y'all's dad," and Bran's like, "Yes, I know that, but she's your mom." What? You've just inherited all of her wealth. You are infinitely wealthy now. What? By the way, they're kicking you out. The queen's father, or the king's house. Like,
Mm.
so
So this House Vespucci is the father's house.
I think the queen.
We should use his name. We should use his name.
Julian.
Julian. House Vespucci is Julian's house. Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, and the thing about Julian is so Julian, which is my son's name, Julian Clark Ellis. Um, he so there's his house, and the thing is, it is the queen's house, but it's also kind of one of those things. And like the queen's final days, like, gosh, like, she's obviously going to pass on, so she's probably going to be. I think two houses are going to claim her. That's how you get King is Dead stuff, because you have Julian's house, then you have Charlotte Mercier's house, the Mercier family, which is like, look, she birthed her, she was coronated, they both were queen, that's the heir. I also like how they're like a smaller house right now. They're smaller in size. They haven't had many historical events yet. We're about to find out. But they're slightly smaller, but ridiculous wealth. Where it's just kind of like they stole the treasury. They walked off with the riches. I like them. Somewhere Martine is like taken care of, I imagine, in her old age, where it was just kind of like, by the way, we're giving you a castle on an island. So go ahead and roll 1d6 minus 1.
all right. 1d6 minus 1. 1.
No
No.
historical events. Yeah, which I think is even better since the last one had so many. So there's no baggage there. They just are how they are. Now go ahead and roll 1d6.
1d6. 6.
They also have a superior castle.
Interesting.
And roll 1d8.
Roll, sorry, 1d8.
Yeah.
8.
This is like they're gonna have essentially they essentially have a church, like a well respected like building, a physical structure, like a cathedral. Wow. And they have hills, plains, and mountains. I like that house. Like they're different. I just like how different they are radically from all the other ones. So you have like the poor monster hunting house, these poor people that have had such hard lives, and I know there's like this beautiful hero. They're gonna come from there. They're gonna rise. They're gonna be all these good things, but they've had such a hard life. Where the most thing they're known for is lands. They have lands. House Lane has lands, and lawlessness, and they're soldiers and they're brave, but they don't live very long. And it's mostly charred tundra and swamp. Then there's their symbol's the goose. We got to do that for Ferraris as well, or
Oh yeah.
Merciers. Um, then you have House Holloway, where it's just the madness of House Holloway. The madness of House Holloway. These, two-headed eagle warriors whose army is growing in size. They're gaining power. They're clawing out of the depths from which they have fallen, and they're descending from their tower that touches the heavens.
Yeah.
And they're in extreme poverty right now, and it's just like, I hear there's money. Hand it over.
Here there's money. All you got to do is become king.
Yeah, House Vespucci has this very storied history. They've almost eliminated all crime. They're starting to rot from within. And their history, though, even though it's very storied, the story is not always very good. And then and they have their massive castle, and they have the dragons on their shields and their tabards. Meanwhile, there is another massive castle, one in a smaller land, a very defensible land, where a house is growing in support and about to lay claim on the crown. And they have near infinite resources when it comes to their funds. They could buy House Holloway and send them to battle for them, which is probably what they're going to do in Unrestful Hearts. And they're highly religious to like the old ways, or at least a modified version of the old ways. So if House Vespucci is the old church, House Mercier is the new church. We've built a cathedral. Do you have one of those? No? Oh, I understood. They have art. So let's roll on that coat of arms.
Oh God.
It's going to be 13d6.
I hate it every time. 44.
A fox.
Ooh.
I love that, especially since foxes are like my favorite RPG animals.
They are. This is just Grant the house.
It is. They made the dice made a house for me where we can be rich and have a beautiful church, and everyone there is lovely, and we have no problems. We have no drama in our past, and we are so good in our fox house here in House Mercier. Oh, that's great. Yeah, so that's our world building creation, essentially. It took a little bit of time, but we made some cool things there through some random die rolls, and you can kind of see how it says that the rivers run into the hills, so like those houses are touching. They're practically like Vespucci and Mercier are, they're kissing houses. Then there's the far north where it's just like the dangerous land, and then like the mountain with the tower that watches over all of it. I think this is a hotbed for drama.
It's gonna be very good. I'm excited.
So
I'm also excited about this fox picture I found.
I'm setting it up.
Oh gosh, I moved it. Sorry.
Okay. It's a fox. Where'd it go?
I put it in the wrong place. There we go.
I want my fox back. There's my fox.
He's so big, he takes up a full picture, a full page.
Yes. So.
That was taken by Sunyu, Sunyu on Unsplash.
Excellent.
Thanks, Sunyu, for this cute fox picture. Yeah, so that's our thing. We're going to make some stuff. We'll probably hack the rules for The King is Dead for the Intrigue and Muster and War and stuff. Probably off stream, unless we decide we have no chill again and, do it some other time. But yeah, I figured out how to open my box. So bonus, how to open a Hungarian puzzle box. This size. There are the larger it gets, the more complicated it is. I have a small one over there so you do this. You pull up the thing. Oh my God, there's a lock. Then you go to the side and you slide this open like this. And then you have this little dude here, and he's stuck a little bit, but come on. You just, there we go. Slide this out. And when you slide this out, there's the key.
Ta-da!
Da-da-da-da. And then you unlock the box. Important handicrafts of my people.
So, I think it's cool to point out that the
Jeff
rules...
left a note for me in here.
What did it say? Oh, in your puzzle box.
In my puzzle box. He says, "Hey there, I love you. I love you so much. I solved this puzzle box." Jeff. That's cute. Anyway, you can wrap up the stream now that I'm
all right.
I'm obsessing over my box. I'm sorry. This is why I don't stream impromptu, because my brain just goes everywhere.
It's all right. So, worth noting that the RPG, I'm going to link to it.
Yes, please.
Not a huge fan of everything involved with it, but I do want to point out that this RPG won the ENnie Award in 2009 for Best Rules. So it's an award-winning system. I'm friends and fans of the designer who has worked on a lot of our modern RPG rule sets as well. So you can see a lot of their development process over the years. If you like the stream, definitely make sure that you support Lauren on her Patreon that's been floating around.
No, shush. I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I guess, okay. I have a Patreon. Patreon.com/starvingsoubrette. I wasn't gonna launch it yet, but Grant is a sneak and found it already, so I guess I have to start making content for it. It's gonna support my streaming and my gaming and stuff. You'll get to do fun things as a patron, like vote on which games I play on stream. There's a tier where you can get all of the games I design for free forever. And there is a tier where you get to look at pages of my design journal. So as I write things, I will be sharing some of my process with you, and I might be adding some singing and music related tiers as well. I'm just not sure how much they are going to cost yet. But yeah, let me so if you're interested in that, you can become a patron of me. You should also patronize Grant, who actually has an up and running Patreon, and he does great things like license artists and pay his cast members on the shows that he runs, and supports game designers and stuff. So definitely do that.
With that, thank you all so much for watching the stream. It was impromptu, but we have no chill over here, so
yeah. It's just real real scheduling announcements. I will be streaming tomorrow just by myself. I will be playing Quill. We're going to play Quill the White Box, which is a persistent high fantasy adventure campaign. We'll probably be doing that for a couple weeks. And then I have patrons now, so you can vote on what I play next. I'm thinking either Ancient Stone or Steading, or maybe some Alone Among the Stars. So definitely hit me up on Twitter if you have any other games that you want to suggest. And then be back here on Monday for another episode of Half Sick of Shadows. We will be playing Star-Crossed as Martine and Branyan from our the Too Many Games with Monarchs for the Queen game. And then the week after, we will be putting these houses to work in the king is dead. So thanks for hanging out, and I hope you will stick around for more fun things.
And you can catch us later tonight on Eric Vulgaris's channel, where we'll be playing the Ultraviolet Grasslands.
Yeah, definitely check that out.
So that'll be in a few hours. Follow us on Twitter if you want to find out when that goes live. I want to say it's like 11 o'clock Eastern time. A little late, but
It's too late.
So,
Past our bedtimes.
Goodbye, everybody.